The 2025 G20 summit, held on the 22nd to the 23rd of November 2025 in Johannesburg, was the 20th meeting of the forum, and the first time a G20 summit was hosted on African soil. With the theme, Solidarity, Equality, Sustainability, the summit marked a shift in focus toward Global South priorities, especially African development, equity, sustainable growth, and multilateral cooperation. Declaration and key commitments. The leaders present adopted a 122-point Leaders Declaration on the very first day, a break from tradition where communiques are issued at the end. Despite the absence of several major powers, notably United States, and non-attendance by some other leaders, the adoption of the declaration was hailed as a reaffirmation of multilateral cooperation. The declaration emphasized key goals and commitments including debt sustainability and reform of global financial architecture, to ease burden on vulnerable and developing nations. Climate action, energy transition and climate resilience for developing economies, including support for renewable energy, adaptation, and disaster resilience. Support for food security, smallholder farmers, and stable agricultural systems, acknowledging volatility in food prices, and global nutrition concerns. Calls for reform of global governance institutions, including a push to reform the United Nations Security Council (UNSC) to improve representation of underrepresented regions like Africa, Asia Pacific and Latin America. Clear condemnation of terrorism, in all its forms and manifestations. Emphasis on gender equality and women's empowerment, by committing to remove social and economic barriers to improve opportunities for women and girls. Special focus, Global South and Africa. One of the biggest takeaways from this summit is that it elevated Global South, and specifically African concerns, to the center of the G20 agenda. With the first African presidency and first African-hosted summit, many long-standing calls for fair representation and equity gained prominence. The pronouncements on debt relief, financial reform, climate resilience, and food security resonate especially with low and middle-income nations, many of which are in Africa and other parts of Global South. Geopolitics, tensions and limitations. The summit was not free of contention. A notable absence was the United States, which boycotted the event, and some other major powers also skipped sending top leaders. Because of these absences, critics argue the summit revealed fractures in global consensus, particularly over issues like global security, climate financing, and governance reforms. Moreover, as with all G20 declarations, even this 122.1, the commitments are non-binding, which means follow-up, implementation and real-world follow-through will be critical.